The simple AI business model that's absolutely everywhere right now, and I mean truly everywhere, is what I call the wrapper model. And whether you realize it or not, you're probably using multiple wrapper businesses every single day, without even knowing it. Let me explain what this is, why it's exploding right now, and why this matters way more than you think. So what exactly is an AI wrapper? At its core, it's incredibly simple. You take an existing AI model like GPT-4, Claude, Stable Diffusion, or any of the other foundation models that the big tech companies have built. You access it through their API, and then you build a specialized interface or application on top of it that solves a specific problem for a specific audience. That's it. You're essentially wrapping someone else's AI in your own user experience, your own branding, your own workflow, and your own pricing model. Now, before you dismiss this as just being a middleman, or think this sounds too simple to be a real business, let me tell you why this model is not only legitimate, but potentially one of the smartest business strategies in tech right now. The companies building these wrapper businesses are generating millions of dollars in revenue. Some of them are valued at hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars, and they're doing it with incredibly small teams, sometimes just a handful of people. Think about Jasper, which was one of the early breakout successes in this space. They built a writing assistant specifically for marketers and content creators that uses GPT models under the hood. They weren't trying to compete with OpenAI in building the fundamental AI technology. Instead, they said, hey, marketers need AI writing tools, but ChatGPT is too general, too complicated, and doesn't fit into their existing workflow. Let's build something specifically for them. And they grew to over $100 million in annual recurring revenue with a team of just a few hundred people. Or look at something like Copy.ai, WriteSonic, or dozens of other writing tools. They're all essentially wrappers around the same underlying AI models, but each one has carved out its own audience, its own positioning, its own unique features and workflows. Some focus on long-form content, others on social media posts, some on email marketing, others on e-commerce product descriptions. They've all found their niche. And it's not just writing tools. You've got Midjourney, which yes, they have their own model now, but they started as a Discord-based wrapper, making AI art generation accessible to non-technical users. You've got tools like Runway for video editing, tools like 11 Labs for voice synthesis, tools like Otter for transcription, tools like Grammarly, which has incorporated AI into their existing product. The list goes on and on and on, but here's what's really interesting about this model and why it works so well. Building a foundation AI model from scratch costs hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars. You need massive compute resources. You need world-class AI researchers. You need enormous datasets. You need years of time. OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, Meta, these companies are spending unfathomable amounts of money to build and train these models. Most businesses, most entrepreneurs, most startups simply cannot compete at that level. It's not even worth trying. But here's the beautiful thing. They don't need to. These big AI companies have made their models available through API specifically because they want other companies to build on top of them. OpenAI wants people using GPT-4. Anthropic wants people using Claude. They make money every time someone makes an API call. It's a win-win situation. The foundation model companies get distribution and revenue without having to build every possible application themselves, and the wrapper companies get access to cutting-edge AI without having to invest billions in research and development. So instead of competing on the AI model itself, wrapper companies compete on everything else. They compete on user experience. They compete on workflow integration. They compete on specific features for specific use cases. They compete on pricing and packaging. They compete on customer support. They compete on marketing and positioning. They compete on understanding their specific customer better than anyone else. And this is actually really hard to do well. Just because you have access to the same AI model as everyone else doesn't mean you'll succeed. You still need to deeply understand your target customer. You need to build an interface that makes sense for how they actually work. You need to integrate with the other tools they use. You need to provide templates, prompts, and guardrails that help them get better results faster. You need to position yourself in a way that resonates with them. You need to acquire customers efficiently. You need to retain them and reduce churn. All of the normal challenges of building a software business still apply, but what makes this model so attractive is the speed and capital efficiency. You can go from idea to launched product in weeks or months instead of years. You don't need millions in funding to get started. You can bootstrap or raise a small amount of money. You can iterate quickly based on customer feedback. You can experiment with different markets and use cases without massive sunk costs. And if one approach doesn't work, you can pivot relatively easily. There's also this really interesting dynamic happening where the wrapper companies are actually adding significant value beyond just the AI itself. Think about it this way. ChatGPT is incredibly powerful, but it's also overwhelming and generic. If you're a real estate agent trying to write property descriptions, you don't want to start with a blank ChatGPT window and figure out the perfect prompt every single time. You want a tool built specifically for real estate agents that understands property listings, that has templates for different types of properties, that integrates with your MLS system, that knows the right tone and length for descriptions that convert. That's real value. Or if you're a lawyer doing contract review, you don't want to copy and paste contracts into ChatGPT. You want a tool that understands legal terminology, that can track changes, that integrates with your document management system, that maintains proper security and confidentiality, that provides citations and explanations in a legally appropriate way. Again, that's real value that goes way beyond just having access to a language model. Now, there are some criticisms of this model that are worth addressing. The most common one is that these wrapper businesses have no moat, no defensibility. The argument goes like this. If you're just a thin layer on top of someone else's AI, what's to stop OpenAI or Anthropic from building your exact feature into their product and crushing you? Or what's to stop a competitor from cloning your product since they have access to the same underlying AI? And look, this is a real concern, but I think it's somewhat overblown. First of all, the foundation model companies are not going to build every possible application. They can't. There are thousands of specific use cases and industries and workflows. They're focused on building the best general AI models and making them available to developers. They want an ecosystem of applications built on top of their models. That's their business model. Yes, OpenAI has built ChatGPT and added features over time, but they're building a general-purpose AI assistant, not a specialized tool for real estate agents, or lawyers, or teachers, or screenwriters, or product managers, or any of the other 100 specific professions and use cases. And even when they do add features, there's still room for specialized tools that go deeper on specific workflows. As for competitors, yes, barriers to entry are lower in wrapper businesses than in foundation model businesses, but that doesn't mean there are no barriers at all. Brand, distribution channels, integrations, accumulated user data, and preferences, network effects in some cases, customer relationships, domain expertise, these all matter. The best wrapper businesses are building real moats. They're just different types of moats than what we're used to in traditional software. Another criticism is that these businesses are too dependent on the foundation model companies. What if pricing changes? What if API access gets restricted? What if the model stops working as well? What if the company goes out of business? These are legitimate concerns, and smart wrapper businesses mitigate this risk in several ways. They diversify by supporting multiple models. They build enough value in their layer that even if costs increase, they can still maintain margins. They stay close to the foundation model companies and maintain good relationships. And in some cases, they start investing in their own AI capabilities over time as they grow. But here's what I think is the most interesting part of this whole phenomenon. We're seeing the democratization of AI in real time. 10 years ago, if you wanted to build an AI-powered product, you needed a team of PhD researchers, millions in funding, access to massive compute clusters, and years of time. Today, a solo developer can build and launch an AI-powered product in a weekend using APIs from OpenAI, Anthropic, or others. That's insane. That's a fundamental shift in how technology gets built and who gets to build it. And this is creating opportunities for people who understand specific domains really well, but aren't AI researchers. If you're a teacher who understands the pain points of lesson planning, you can build an AI-powered lesson planning tool. If you're a photographer who understands photo editing workflows, you can build AI-powered editing tools. If you are a small business owner who understands the challenges of customer service, you can build AI-powered customer service tools. The AI expertise is commoditized through the API. What matters is the domain expertise and the execution. We're also seeing this play out in really creative ways. Some wrapper businesses are becoming aggregators, combining multiple AI models for different tasks. Some are focusing on workflow automation, chaining together multiple AI calls to complete complex tasks. Some are building marketplaces where creators can share prompts and templates. Some are adding human-in-the-loop components where AI does the heavy lifting, but humans provide refinement and quality control. The possibilities are endless. And the timing is perfect right now because we're still early in the AI adoption curve. Most businesses haven't fully integrated AI into their workflows yet. Most consumers are still figuring out how to use these tools effectively. There's massive room for companies that can bridge the gap between the raw power of foundation models and the specific needs of specific users. The companies that can make AI accessible, useful, and integrated into existing workflows are going to capture enormous value. So if you're thinking about building in the AI space, don't be discouraged by the fact that you're not building the next GPT model. That's probably not the best use of your time or resources anyway. Instead, think about a specific problem for a specific audience that AI could solve really well. Think about how you can create a better experience than just using ChatGPT or Claude directly. Think about integrations, workflows, templates, and user experience. Think about how you can become the default tool for your niche. The wrapper model isn't going anywhere. If anything, it's going to become even more prevalent as AI capabilities continue to improve and as more foundation models become available. The companies that win will be the ones that understand their customers deeply, execute well on product and distribution, and build real value on top of the AI capabilities they're accessing. It's a legitimate business model, it's working for a lot of companies right now, and there's still enormous opportunity for new entrants who can find the right positioning and execute well. That's the simple AI business model that's everywhere, and now you know exactly what to look for and why it matters.